This video will show you how to replace the headlamp assembly on a Mitsubishi Lancer. You'll have two of these, one along each side of the front of your vehicle. Let's get into it. Okay friend, let's get started on our job. To remove the front bumper cover, we're going to make our way safely under the front of the vehicle. We're under the front corner of the vehicle, and we can see where our bumper cover and our lower splash shield meet. Now on the bumper cover itself, you can see several pieces of hardware. We're not actually removing these mounting bolts. Let's focus on the hardware holding the splash shield in place. We have some push clips. As far as these push clips, I'm using a trim tool to remove them. I have all those push clips out. We do have the same push clips on the other side. Let's continue on with our mounting bolts first. For these mounting bolts, they've been replaced. I'm using an 8mm. They're typically 10mm headed mounting bolts. And now we have our push clips all the way over on the corner. We'll just remove those. All right, we've got that separated. Now we're going to make our way inside of each one of our front wheel wells. Now up inside each one of our wheel wells, we're going to find that we have push clips holding the bumper cover to our inside fender liner. We just want to dislodge it. Now this is looking good. As you continue all the way up to the upper corner where it connects to your front fender, you're going to find that you have a 10mm headed bolt facing straight up and down. We'll remove that as well. Now we can take hold of the edge of the bumper cover here, and we're going to carefully start pulling it away from our front fender. We want to be aware of the fact that you gently have to pull down at the same time as you pull away. There we are. Once you've completed this on one side of the vehicle, go over to the other side of the vehicle, do the exact same process, and then you're up inside the engine compartment. After dislodging both corners of the front bumper cover, we're back under the hood, as I mentioned. In this area across the front, we have to remove the forward plastic panel. To do that, we want to remove the air inlet tube that leads to the air filter box first. We'll be starting across the front of it. You should find that you have two plastic push clips. One of ours is missing. I'm just going to go ahead and pry out the one that I do have there. Now we can take hold of this. We're going to gently lift it up and pull it away from the air filter housing. Should slide out of place fairly easily. A quick inspection will set it aside. As far as the plastic panel is concerned, there are several locating tabs making their way across the front, sliding into the front bumper cover. We don't need to deal with those yet. We're going to be focusing on our push clips holding it down. There's that one. We're making our way across. We're in the center. For this one, it's down in this area. I'm going to be using a small angled pick. Just carefully pull up on the center and remove it. There's one portion. Now, since that did come apart, I'm just going to go ahead and reset it. It's in the unlocked position. Let's get our last push clip out of position. All right. Now we can take hold of that panel. We're going to lift up along the backside, pull it away along the front. Now here's where I can show you those locating tabs that go across the front there. Just make sure they're in good usable order. We'll set this aside. We have the panel off, and now we're looking down along the center. Just underneath our hood latch is where we can see we have an electrical connector with a wiring harness. We have to disconnect the electrical connector. It has a small locking tab on the driver's side of the connector here. I'm going to squeeze it in and we'll dislodge it. Once you have it dislodged, just a quick inspection for corrosion. That looks okay. And we can see our locking tab there. That's what I was squeezing on. Just above that area, we can see our bumper cover center bracket. We'll remove our 10mm headed mounting bolt from here. Now, I've used some penetrant on this mounting bolt. It's common for this bolt right here to break. Let's see if we can work it back and forth to remove it. Does have some movement. There we are. As I mentioned, it does break. That's okay, we have several other mounting bolts that are holding this in place. Let's continue on to those. The mounting bolts that we'll be removing make their way across the front here. You're going to find that you have 4 10mm headed mounting bolts. As you can see, one of ours has previously been broken. Let's remove the ones that are in place. And there should be one here, as I mentioned. Now it's pretty loose. We still have 2 more mounting bolts to gain access to. These are protected by these 2 plastic covers in the lower grille assembly. Just going to use a small pocket screwdriver to gain access to the mounting bolt located behind it. Just give that a quick inspection. Get our bolt right in here. There's that bolt. Let's do the same to the other. We'll make sure we're holding onto the front bumper cover, pressing it towards the vehicle as we continue on with this last mounting bolt. We can give this a wiggle and remove it from the vehicle. Just a quick inspection of that bumper cover and we'll set it aside. Now we can start removing the headlamp. For that, we have 2 electrical connectors along the backside to be dislodged. Each one of these 2 connectors has a locking tab. Squeeze it in, disconnect the connector. This one's on this side over here. Now you're going to find that you have 4 pieces of 10mm hardware to be removed. We have 1 mounting bolt down the outer corner here, which would have been tucked behind that front bumper cover. Now we'll make our way up along the top of the headlamp assembly. Up on the top corner, we have 1 mounting bolt here. Making our way in towards the center, we have 2 more mounting bolts. There's 1 up along the top and 1 on the inner corner. This one right here. We'll take hold of the inner corner of the headlamp assembly. We're going to carefully start tugging it away. We want to pay attention on the upper outer corner though. This corner will need to be gently lifted to be removed. You can see why it had to be lifted. We have this raised area. Go ahead and remove that headlamp assembly from the vehicle. There it is, friend. Prior to installation of any brand new part, of course, we need to make sure we clean and inspect our mounting surfaces. Now it's time to install the brand new front headlamp assembly. Before we get this in place, let's have a quick look along the backside. Since we're looking along the backside of this, you have to picture it as a mirrored image. This would actually be the inboard side, and that's the outboard side. We're looking for the alignment points. Looking at this, along close to the center of the headlamp assembly, you can see 1 alignment point here. The second one will be on the outer aspect, all the way out here. To make your adjustments, you want to use a Phillips head screwdriver. You're going to make your way straight down through the slot that you can see on that headlamp assembly, onto that adjuster, and turn it one direction or the other, once you do have everything hooked up. That's how you set your alignment. Now with that said, let's get this installed. We'll start carefully bringing this in position. The outer corner is where we're going to focus our attention first. We need to make sure we have this up so it goes over that locating tab. Then we'll press it down. While I'm holding this down in position, I'm going to continue on with my mounting bolts. I'm really just starting this in, and we're using the pointy-ended 10mm headed bolt. Now we have our corner bolt. Put this in here. Make our way towards the center upper hardware, and then we're on the inboard corner there. At this point, they're all started in. Let's make sure it's level and snug them up. Take hold of the headlamp assembly and ensure it's secured properly. Now that it's in place, we're focusing along the backside. We have our electrical connectors. We're just going to line those up, press them in, and we'll listen for a click from each. Nice audible click there. Let's get that large connector next. Perfect. Now this headlamp is secured. We're going to continue on with repeating this exact same process on the other side of the vehicle because you replace these as a pair. Once you've completed that, you want to make sure you test the functionality real quick prior to continuing on with the installation of your bumper cover. Perfect. Okay, let's prepare to install our front bumper cover. As we bring this into position, we're being aware of all sides of the bumper cover. We're paying attention along the top as well. This is where we're going to start in our mounting hardware. There should be one here. Ours is missing. There should also be a mounting bolt down in this area. Once again, ours is broken. So we're going to continue on by making sure that this bracket is up in the proper positioning. Install the bolts, assuming it's there, and then we're just going to tighten all this hardware. That's the hardware that we have available. Now, while I'm still up in this area, let's make sure we reconnect our electrical connector. Let's see if we can get this connected in. Line it up. Listen for an audible click. Make sure it's secured in place. After you're done in the top center, we're making our way down along each side of the vehicle. We have to make sure the bumper cover is aligned with the bottom of the headlamp and the fender. It's going to go up along the top of this plastic bracket and all the way over to this corner point. Once we have everything in place properly, we have our 10mm headed bolt that makes its way up through this area. As you remember here, we have to gently pull down so we can slide it into the proper placement. Just a couple light taps if needed. Let's get that bolt in place. Let's get our bolt up in there. We'll just make sure we're seated before we continue on inside the wheel well with our 2 push clips making our way down. After we've completed that, we have to do the exact same thing on the other side of the vehicle. We can see our 2 push pin ports. As far as those push pins, we're driving in the outer portion and then locking them in with the center. We'll just double check to make sure that's secured. As I mentioned, go over to the other side of the vehicle, repeat this exact same process, then you're making your way under the front of the vehicle. I've completed the other side. Now I'm underneath the corner of the bumper cover. We have 4 push clips making their way over here. Then we have several mounting bolts along the center, and on the other side, more push clips. Let's install our mounting bolts across, and then I'm going to go ahead and repeat the process for the push clips on the opposite corner. I'm just going to start in these mounting bolts before tightening any of them. All right, we got them started in. Now it's time for our protective caps. If you were looking at either edge of the protective cap, you're going to find that they're a little different. One side, on the outer portion, has a locating tab. The other side has the locking tab. We'll start bringing this into the proper position and lock it in on the center edge here. Got our next one. Just double check to make sure that's secured in place, and now we can make our way up under the hood. Now under the hood, we have our plastic panel. Along the front of the panel, we have those locating tabs that I showed you before. We're going to start bringing this down into the proper position. We'll slide it forward, aligning the locating tabs. Once you have that properly aligned, you should also find that your push pin ports are aligned as well. You're going to have 4 of them making their way across this to be installed. Let's get this one in this area. Just make sure that this is secured. We'll continue on with our air inlet tube next. As far as this tube, it's going to slide into the air filter housing. Line it up, slide it in there. Now we'll pivot the front down. We're aligning our push pin ports. As you know, our vehicle had 1 push pin. There should be 2. The other one goes in this port here. Okay, friend, we finished our installation and we've already tested the functionality. The last thing you have to do is complete a headlamp alignment. Thanks for watching.
Now we're going to get the vehicle ready to aim the headlights. Start with the tire pressure, making sure all 4 tires are set at the appropriate pressure. Remove any excessive weight that's not normally in the vehicle. Find a wall that you can drive up to where the ground is level. Measure 25 feet away from that wall and mark the ground. Drive your vehicle up to that mark. With the headlights off, look for the center dot in the headlight lens. Measure from the ground to that center dot. You can use a ruler to help you out. Transferring that measurement to the wall, making a mark with some tape. On the driver's side, measure down 4 inches, putting another piece of tape. For the passenger side, you only need to measure down 2 inches. Now turning the headlights on, it is easier to do this at night or in a dark area. Locating your headlight adjuster and using a Phillips head screwdriver, turn your adjuster one way or another to bring the headlight up or down. Once the headlight is adjusted to the tape mark on the wall, move on to the next headlight. If you're confused because the beams seem to blend together, you can always have someone stand in front of the other headlight while you make your adjustments for that one. Now your headlights are aligned and you're all set to go.
When only the best will do, demand TRQ. The only company that lets you view before you do. TRQ is committed to offering the highest quality aftermarket auto parts that are engineered for peace of mind. Thanks for using and viewing with TRQ.